Hello dear students, this is Dr. N. Usharani speaking from Maharajas College of Pharmacy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to give a small demo on working principles of colorimeter and sample analysis by using the colorimeter. So this will be useful for B Pharmacy students, M Pharmacy students as well as BSc and MSc Chemistry as well as Analytical Chemistry students. If you find this video good and useful, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let me now describe about colorimetry. Colorimetry is a part of spectroscopy, that is a science that is dealing with interaction of light with matter. And as the name indicates, colorimeter or colorimetry, this particular procedure involves basing on measurement of color. And this particular procedure can also be called as visible spectroscopy, because here we are going to measure all the colored solutions, and as colored solutions are visible, this is also called as visible spectroscopy. As we know, this entire spectroscopy is based on interaction of electromagnetic radiation with matter, and in this particular colorimetry we are dealing with the visible range of the electromagnetic radiation. You already know that there are a number of regions in the electromagnetic radiation, that is the visible range or the colorimetric range, the ultraviolet range, the IR range, radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. So today we are basically describing about a procedure that is based upon the visible range of light that is interacting with matter. So the visible range of light in the electromagnetic region or electromagnetic spectrum usually ranges from 400 nanometers to 800 nanometers. So all the drug samples or all the drugs that have the capacity to absorb the light radiation between 400 to 800 nanometers can be analyzed in colorimeter or by using the principles of visible spectroscopy. The basic principle here is when we pass the visible radiation through the sample solution, the sample or the atoms present in our drug sample absorb the light energy, and the electrons present in the atoms move to the excited energy levels as they absorb the energy, and in the excited energy levels they are highly unstable, and from there they within a fraction of seconds they return back to the ground energy levels. While doing so, they emit all the absorbed energy, and this emitted radiation passes to the detector, which senses this radiation and converts it into the electric current or electric energy, and finally gives a digital reading in the recorder. This is the basic principle of colorimetry. So today we are going to study about the working principles of the colorimeter. In our lab, we are having the colorimeter of Elico model, and the model number is CL157. Elico CL157 is the make and model number of the colorimeter that we are having in our labs. So this is a very compact and a simple instrument which usually measures the color. And today my sample that I am going to analyze is the sulfonamide sample. Before going to the sample analysis, I would like to describe the different parts of a colorimeter. As all spectrophotometers, colorimeter also have the basic parts like the light source, the monochromator, the sample holder, then the cuvettes, the detector and the recorder. The light source present in this colorimeter is a tungsten filament lamp. The tungsten filament lamp present in this colorimeter gives an unfluctuated radiation to the sample. After the light source, the second part is a monochromator. The name monochromator means monochroma indicates single color. That means monochromator is a part of the spectrophotometer that cuts off the unnecessary wavelengths and passes the single wavelength or the necessary wavelength range into the sample. Monochroma, single color and single wavelength. This is the basic purpose of the monochromator that is present in a spectrometer. In this particular spectrometer, the monochromators are the filters. Simply they are filters or colored glasses can be used in a colorimeter or this Elico CL157 visible spectrometer. So the monochromator is simple filters or colored glasses that cut off the unnecessary wavelengths and pass the necessary wavelength into the sample solution. The next part is the sample holder. So here you can see the space that is given for placing the sample, and these are called as the cuvettes. sample containers or cuvettes. These are made up of glass. The cuvettes or sample containers are made up of glass. Next comes the detector. The radiation that comes out of the sample passes into the detector. In this particular colorimeter, we are having a simple detector called as a phototube. The phototube consists of a single anode and a cathode. The radiation that comes out of the sample passes on the inner surface of the cathode, and the cathode is covered by a photoemissive material. Whenever the radiation falls on the inner surface of the cathode, electrons are emitted, and these electrons move from cathode to the anode. And this electric current is measured, and the electric current is denoted by the galvanometer deflection, and finally the recorder gives a digital reading here. This is the recorder digital reading. So these are all the different parts of the spectrophotometer. Now we are going to start the sample analysis by using colorimeter. So now I am starting the sample analysis for the colorimetry. Today my sample is a sulfonamide solution. Sulfonamide solution. It is actually an antibacterial and an antifungal, and it consists of the primary aromatic amine group in it. And so as sulfonamide solutions are colorless in nature, I have added a reagent called as Broughton-Marshall reagent to develop this purple color. So this is the mechanism of reaction of sulfonamide with the BM reagent. Sulfonamide basically is an aromatic amino group containing compound. Usually these compounds are diazotized with an aqueous solution of sodium nitrite and hydrochloric acid. In this reaction, the colorless diazonium salt is formed, that is diazotized sulfonamide is formed in this particular first reaction, which is very reactive. And when this is treated with coupling reagent like Broughton-Marshall reagent or BM reagent, it will be producing azo derivative. These azo derivatives are colored and have an absorption maximum in visible region, and they are purple in color in case of sulfonamide, and this will be measured in the visible wavelength region. Now I am going to show how to analyze this sulfonamide sample by using colorimeter. So for analyzing a sample using colorimeter, there are basically three steps. The first step is to find out the lambda max of sulfonamide. As I have told you in my previous videos, lambda max is the characteristic property of a drug, that is a wavelength at which the drug shows maximum absorbance. So that is the first step to find out the lambda max of sulfonamide. The second step is to construct a calibration curve by using the absorbances values of all these working standards or dilutions. The third step is to find out the absorbance of an unknown solution or formulation solution or a suspension solution of sulfonamide. And then using the calibration curve, we have to determine the concentration of the unknown sample or the commercial formulation concentration, and find out the amount of drug present in the commercial formulation. This is the third step. So let me start with the first step. The first step is we have prepared all the different concentrations of sulfonamide solutions. You can see here the solutions are from 1 microgram per ml to 5 microgram per ml. You can see the difference in the colors also. Like 1 microgram per ml is having a pale color, a light color, and as we move on from 1 microgram per ml to 5 microgram per ml, you can see the color intensity has increased. So as the concentration of the drug solution increases, the color intensity also increases. And similarly, as the drug concentration increases, the colorimetric reading also increases. This is the basic principle or logic behind which we are using this colorimeter for sample analysis. So in this, I can select any one of the drug solutions, any one of the samples. I am selecting one of the concentrations, and I will be finding out the lambda max value of sulfonamide solution. So one thing I can tell you is whatever is the concentration, the lambda max value doesn't change. We can select any of these samples to find out the lambda max. So I have taken one of the concentrations of sulfonamide solutions into the cuvette, and For finding out the lambda max of the sulfonamide solution, first of all I have to adjust the colorimeter to zero absorbance. And in order to adjust the colorimeter to zero absorbance, I have to take the blank solution. So distilled water is the blank solution today. I have taken distilled water and first placing it into the cuvette holder. You can see here two turrets. One turret is to change the wavelength. I think it is visible. As I turn the turret, wavelengths will be changing, and the other one is to adjust to zero. So here I can say a small information that in this particular colorimeter, each and every wavelength cannot be scanned, but it has given certain points from 400 to 800, like 450, then 470, then 510, 520, 540, 570, 600, 670, like that. So at these points we can measure the absorbance. So in this colorimeter certain ranges have been mentioned where we can find out the absorbance of the solution, and then we can find out the lambda max value from those observations. So I have placed the distilled water or blank in the cuvette holder, and I have placed at the 450 nanometers, and now I am adjusting to zero. So I have adjusted to zero with distilled water. Here we have to remember that whenever we change the wavelength, we have to adjust the absorbance to zero with distilled water. Now I have adjusted the absorbance to zero with the distilled water. Now I am placing the sample solution. I am placing the sample solution. I have placed the sample solution at 450 nanometers. The absorbance is 0.20. Then I will be changing the wavelength. I have changed the wavelength to 470. As I told you, whenever I change the wavelength, I have to adjust to zero with the help of distilled water or blank. So again I am placing blank. At 470 I am adjusting to 0. So I have adjusted to 0 at 470 nanometers with blank solution. Then again I am placing the sample solution. So at 470 it is 0.23. The absorbance value or optical density is 0.23. 520 nanometers, the absorbance is 0.82. So like that, dear students, I have to change the wavelength here continuously and then find out the absorbance of the sample solution at all these wavelengths. And remember, for every change of wavelength, I have to adjust the absorbance to 0 with the help of the blank. This is the first step of our experiment. So after noting down all the wavelengths and absorbances at the different wavelengths, like from 420, 540, 570, 610, 640, 670 and so on, whichever wavelengths are mentioned by the wavelength in the range of 400 to 800 nanometers, I have to scan the sample at all these wavelengths and note down a data with two columns. That is, the first column is the wavelength and the second column is the absorbance. Then we have to construct a graph taking wavelength on the x-axis and absorbances on the y-axis. Then we get an absorption isotherm, which is nothing but a simple peak. And when we extrapolate that peak position to the x-axis, it will be meeting at a particular wavelength, and that wavelength can be denoted as the lambda max of the sulfonamide solution. So we have to construct a graph, and from the graph we have to note down the peak point, and from the peak, if we extrapolate the line to the x-axis, to whatever wavelength the line matches, that wavelength can be taken as the lambda max value of sulfonamide. For example, the lambda max value of sulfonamide is 540 nanometers. That means at 540 nanometers, sulfonamide absorbs maximum light energy. So all analysis must be done at 540 nanometers. So now we are in the second step of sample analysis. Now we know the lambda max value, that is 540 nanometers. Now we adjust the turret to 540 nanometers and keep it like that. Now all the sample solutions or all the working standards, we have to measure their absorbance at this 540 nanometers. So I am taking the first concentration and placing it. Before placing it, I will be adjusting to 0. So I have adjusted to 0. Now I am placing the first concentration, that is 1 microgram per ml. For 1 microgram per ml, the optical density or absorbance is 0.41 at 540 nanometers. So now I am going to measure the absorbances of all the solutions at 540 nanometers. So we need not change the wavelength, hence we can continue with the sample 2. Now I am placing the second sample at 540 nanometers. 2 microgram per ml is showing 0.91 absorbance. For all the concentrations or for all the working standards at 540, I will be measuring the absorbances and I will be noting down the data under 2 columns. The first column is concentration, the second column is absorbance. We will be observing that as the concentration increases, the absorbance value also increases proportionately. So now we will be constructing a curve that is called as a calibration curve, taking concentration on x-axis and absorbances on y-axis. We get a linear curve and a straight line passing through the 0 and following the regression equation, that is y equal to mx plus c. This is termed as the calibration curve. And in this calibration curve, we can observe that as the concentration increases, the absorbance value also increases proportionately. This means our procedure and the drug is obeying the Beer's law. Beer's law states that as the concentration of the sample increases, absorbance also increases proportionately. So when we get a linear curve or when we get the regression equation y equal to mx plus c with the readings that we have measured, we can conclude that our drug is following Beer's law. That means we have established a relationship between the instrument and the drug sample that we have taken. So this particular method can be used to analyze the unknown sample of sulfonamide or commercial sample of sulfonamide. This is the step 2. So now we are coming to the step 3. Step 3 is we have to take a unknown solution or a commercial formulation solution. So now I am placing the commercial formulation solution. So this is the solution that is prepared from the commercial sulfonamide suspension. I am placing this sample in the colorimeter and finding out the absorbance of this unknown or commercial formulation of suspension. The absorbance of this commercial suspension sample is 1.02. This is the OD value or optical density value of the commercial sulfonamide suspension. So now what we have to do to find out this concentration is, we can substitute this absorbance value that is 1.02 in the y place of y equal to mx plus c equation that we have got in the step 2. When we substitute this absorbance value in the regression equation that we have got in the step 2, we can solve it for x. X is nothing but the amount of drug that is present in the commercial formulation. That is one of the methods. Or a very simple method is this unknown absorbance or absorbance of our commercial sample, we can locate it in the graph that is manually drawn with a paper and pencil, and then from the graph itself we can locate the concentration of the commercial formulation from the x-axis. These are the two simple methods for finding out the unknown concentration or the concentration of drug in the commercial formulation. So this is how, by using colorimeter, we can analyze samples or colored solutions. So dear students, I hope the video is in detail and you have understood the colorimetry and sample analysis by colorimetry. In brief, I can say we have to first find out the lambda max of our drug sample. Then we have to plot a calibration curve by using the absorbances of all the working standards that are prepared from the pure drug. Then we have to find the absorbance of the commercial formulation solution. Then from the absorbance of the commercial formulation solution, either by substituting the value in the y place of regression equation or by locating this absorbance in the manually drawn graph with a graph paper and a pencil, we can find out the unknown concentration of the drug that is present in the commercial formulation solution. So this is a very simple method by using the colorimeter. Hope this video is useful. Soon I will be back with one more analytical method. Hope it is helpful. Thank you.